Video is an introduction to coordinate geometry of the line. The first thing that we encounter in coordinate geometry is the coordinate plane. When we say plane here, we mean a flat surface. The coordinate plane starts off with two lines, a horizontal line and a vertical line. The horizontal line is called the x-axis and the vertical line is called the y-axis. The x-axis and the y-axis act like number lines. The zero is where they intersect. Just like on all number lines, the spaces between values should be exactly the same. And you can see here that I've marked in a little dash to represent each value. And next to each dash, I mark in the value. We tend not to write the zero in because it's a little bit awkward to get it in there in the middle without going on top of the axes. But we know it's there. This is the positive sense of the x-axis, and this is the negative sense of the x-axis. Okay, we'll also do the same on the y-axis. So I'll do the same as before, marking in my dashes and marking in my numbers. Now I've chosen to just go as far as 4 and -4 in each direction, but the x and y axis extend indefinitely. I can keep going as far as I want. I can make my coordinate plane as large as I like. And I've chosen to go up in 1s, but you can equally go up in 2s or 3s or whatever's convenient at the time. To begin with though, we'll generally see it going up in 1s. So the coordinate plane is useful because it allows me to accurately locate information on the plane, on the surface. Each individual point on the coordinate plane is given a coordinate made up of an x number and a y number. The x number always comes first and the y number always comes second. And we always write it using this notation with brackets around them and a comma between them. Here's the point 2, 3. And just for convenience, I've decided to call it the point A, so I've written a capital A in front of it. So let's look at how to locate this on the coordinate plane now. So I imagine that I'm starting at 0. And I first of all look at my x value, which in this case is 2. So this tells me to move to 2 on my x-axis. And then I look at the y value, which is 3, and this tells me to go 3 places up in the y direction. So my A point is located here on my coordinate plane. And for clarity, I write its name next to it. So let's do this again. This time I've got the point B and it's -3, 1. So again, I'll start at the center point here at 0. And I'm going to go on the x-axis first of all as far as -3, and then the y piece of information for B is 1, so I'll go up 1 place. And again, I'll write the name of the point next to it for clarity. Next I have the point C, -2, -3, so take a moment to think where you think this should be located. Again, starting at the middle point here, I'm going to go out to -2 on the x-axis, and then down to -3 on the y-axis. And again, I'll write its name next to it, so that's the point C. Next I have the point D, which is 4, -2. Again, take a moment to think where you think this point should be located. Okay, so D, I'm going to start from the center point here, and I'm going to go out as far as 4, and then down as far as -2. And there's my point D on my coordinate plane. I've been referring to the central point here as the middle point, or 0, but it's actually better to use its correct name. This point here where the x and y axes meet is called the origin. What do you think the coordinates of the origin would be? The origin is represented by the point 0, 0. Let's graph 2 more points. First off, E, which is the point 0, -4. Again, take a moment to think where this should be located. So this time again, I'm starting at the origin. My x value this time is 0, so I don't move out on the x-axis. I stay put, and I go down to -4 on the y-axis. Note that in this point E, the x value is 0, and the point is on the y-axis. And here's our other point. This is the point F, which is 2, 0. Have a think about where this might be located. Also think, can you make any observations about the location of this point and the way in which it's written as the point 2, 0? Okay, so F, well, we're starting at the origin. We're going out to 2, and then because the y value is 0, we don't need to go up or down, so our point is going to be located just here. And of course, you may have noted that the y value is 0 in this case, and the point is on the x-axis. The last thing that I want to refer to in this video are the 4 quadrants created by the coordinate plane. And these are just the 4 regions that the xy axis breaks our space up into. We start in this region here. Notice that the x and y values are positive in this region. This is the first quadrant. All points in this quadrant will be positive x's and positive y's. We move through the quadrants anti-clockwise. So this is the second quadrant. What general statement do you think I could make about the signs of any coordinate in the second quadrant? Well, notice that it's on the negative side of the x-axis and the positive side of the y-axis. So any point that has a negative x and a positive y is going to be in that second quadrant. Next we have the third quadrant. Again, make an observation about what signs you think x and y will have in this quadrant. Any point that has a negative x and a negative y is going to be in that third quadrant. And finally we have the fourth quadrant. Again, have a think for a moment about what you think we will see with the signs for the x and y values of coordinates in this quadrant. Well, notice that we're on the positive side of the x-axis and the negative side of the y-axis. So any point in this quadrant will have a positive x and a negative y.